What's up, gearheads? It's Trev, and today at the garage we're going to be putting on a Daystar 1-inch body lift kit. The Daystar kit actually replaces the factory body mount completely. This bushing is over 10 years old at this point, so rather than stack something on top of it, this is just going to go in between. The TJ Wranglers have 11 body mount points. There's 3 easily visible ones that run down each side. There's the 2 easily visible ones, 1 on each corner on the back of the cab. And then there's 2 on the inside area of the body underneath that are right by the shock mounts. And then there's 1 more right dead center up front in the grill area. This is the first time I'm ever doing a body lift, but it really doesn't look like it's that complicated. A couple of steps that you absolutely need to take before you get started. Make sure that you don't break or damage anything. Loosen up your radiator fan shroud, unbolt it completely. Yes, I read the directions. They say to remove your oil dipstick, just in case that could get pinched somehow. I don't really know how, but I'll go ahead and do that. Maybe. So the radiator fan shroud is loose now, or the cooling fan shroud. I dropped an extension inch socket on my forehead. Kind of hurt. And while I was taking out the last bolt, the shroud dropped slightly down and just barely tapped the drain petcock on my radiator, which I did notice just yesterday that my coolant was a little bit low and was wondering where it was going, and now I found it. So guess what we're doing next? So once the fan shroud is loose, the next step is to remove your carpet. I take mine out every summer anyway, and undo these 4 bolts for the shifter linkage for the 4-wheel drive system for the transfer case, because we're going to be installing a drop down bracket in conjunction with this body lift, so everything stays working just right. It's one of those days when nothing goes right. That doesn't feel good. That doesn't feel good at all. I think we're going to take these underneath. Okay. They should just unbolt. Oh, my, you're going to clean up first. Sorry, I'll let you last here. So for this body lift, I've been fighting with the bolts for the bracket for the transfer case shifter. It's just a stupid setup. I'll show you in a second here, but the nuts are all seized up, if you can even call them nuts. Some speed nut thing. Thank you, Chrysler. So this is just a stupid setup. These nut things have these little tabs right here that are supposed to catch the bracket and allow the bolts to back out. Well, instead, it bent the bracket out. They seized on the end on all 4. So now I'm going to cut the bottom 2 off, slide this down, which will give me a little more space, see if I can get these rubber bushings out, or if I can just cut the top 2 ends off. I found 1 destroyed rubber bushing for one of these. I don't know where the second one went. So I'm probably, I don't know, I either need to work out something with new bolts if I can't save these, or figure out a way to space things out to get this to go back on properly. More than likely, I'm going to have to go to the dealership and get a whole bunch of new hardware. So putzing around with that, I decided I spent the extra, not quite $100. I ordered a motor mount lift kit. So body's going up 1 inch, and I'm going to lift the engine 1 inch. Now by lifting the engine 1 inch, that changes my drivetrain angle and tips the engine back, which will actually correct my drivetrain angle because of the 2-inch suspension lift. That's 2 inches is kind of pushing the limits without needing a transfer case drop kit, which I don't have. So it's either lower the transfer case or lift the engine. Now if I lift the engine, not only is that going to take care of the minimal drivetrain vibration that I have by correcting the driveline angle, but it's also going to make it so that I don't have to worry about installing that drop kit for the transfer case shifter. So this way I can put the engine lift in, put the body lift on, Drivetrain's running nice and smooth. Everything lines up. I don't even have to trim the fan shroud. Everything works out great. Except for the fact that I'm at point of no return with this bracket, and I still have to get these bolts out and figure out a fix for it.